going on, everybody? Got the old guitar. Got the guitar for this video, and this video is actually going to be a Q&A video. Got a lot going on today. It's going to be a busy day here on After Prison Show. Real quick, just want to let you know that as soon as I get done filming this, editing this, and uploading this, I actually have a guy coming in from out of town that you're going to meet, another YouTuber from Virginia where I'm located at. He's going to be helping me out, and we are actually going to, where in the hell is that? Can't lose this. We're actually going to take this right here and we're going to go do some good with this. Read a lot of awesome comments about what I should do with this check in relation to donating it to a homeless organization or homeless individuals, and you will be seeing all about that, I'm hoping, by tomorrow. But let's go ahead and get started with this video. This is a Q&A, and I'm not only going to be answering questions posed in the comments section, I'm also going to be responding to certain comments. I'm going to try to keep this relatively brief because there's a lot of comments and questions I want to get to in this video. And this actually has a lot to do with one of the questions that was asked in the comment section, but we'll get to that in just a little bit. Can I even play this? Do I even know how to play one of these? I don't know. Our first question comes from Shalord, who asks, "Hey Joe, tell us about guys you met in prison who turned out to be innocent. To meet someone in prison who is actually innocent is not something that's going to happen very often, if at all. Yes, there are people who are locked up for crimes they did not commit whatsoever. I did, however, meet two different people who I could use to answer this question. And both of these people that I met in prison have two completely different stories when it comes to actually being innocent. The first person I want to tell you about is a young guy I met at the last prison I was at. His name was Tyler. Tyler was actually locked up for an attempted murder charge. And when you hear his story, you're going to be like, that is pretty fucked up. But this was a young guy who was in the Army. He was in the medical field in the Army. I'm not exactly sure what that is. He was an EMT also. Yes, how you doing, sir? Sorry, that was my probation officer. Tyler was a young kid. He was also in the Army before he got locked up. I mean, this kid really had his life together. He told me this story. It was one of the craziest things I ever heard. But he was at a party. He was drinking. Everybody there was drinking, of course. And he actually walked in and saw one of his best friends, who was a female, literally getting attacked by another guy. In his own words, he told me this guy was raping her. He walked in. She was saying, "Stop, stop, stop, get off of me." This is what he hears as soon as he opens the door and walks into this bedroom. And again, he's been drinking whatever, but he absolutely just blacks out at this point and proceeds to beat the shit out of this guy and really messed him up bad. In fact, he beat this guy up so bad that he actually ended up paralyzed, like completely on one side of his body. Tyler was charged with attempted murder in this case. Went to court. The guy that he had beaten up, who was paralyzed, literally was in the courtroom just looking, totally messed up from this. And he got 5 years for this. And what's even crazier is that the guy he assaulted, the guy that he beat up in an effort to defend his female friend, who was in all actuality about to be raped, it seemed like, this guy really didn't get like anything from this. In fact, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure he didn't even get charged because of the fact that he was paralyzed throughout like half of his body. He was never charged with this attempted rape. It was pretty fucking crazy. Even the girl who was the victim in this tried to come to court in Tyler's defense, and he still ended up getting 5 years because of this. The fact that he was in the Army, you would have thought actually helped him in his defense, but it actually kind of hurt him because he told me the judge said, "Son, you're in the Army and you have to be held to a higher degree of accountability in a case like this." In my own personal opinion, I feel Tyler was about as innocent as they come, simply defending his friend, and ended up getting 5 years in an attempted murder charge. Now, the next case I want to tell you about in regards to actually being innocent while locked up is about a guy I met in the jail who had a murder charge. I mean, this guy legitimately killed somebody and was sitting in jail on a murder charge, and he actually beat this murder charge. And I'm not exactly sure he beat it because of the fact that he was innocent, but the reason he was able to beat this murder charge is because certain witnesses in the case just were too scared to come to court. So the state actually didn't have enough evidence to convict this guy. And who's to say really if he did this or if he didn't? But when you start talking about witnesses being too scared to show up to court and they don't, it may be a good indication that whoever they're supposed to come to court against is a pretty bad dude. Jared Anderson asks, Joe, did you ever help a gang or join a gang, or are there any stories you can tell us? There are plenty of stories I can tell you about gangs in prison. Gang wars and beatings and getting beat in or getting beat out of an actual gang. Good Lord, I've seen the worst when it comes to all of those situations. But did I actually ever help a gang? No. In fact, the closest I think I could ever say in relation to actually helping a gang is when I first got to prison and was pretty much being threatened by gang members in the housing unit to tattoo them and to tattoo gang symbols on them. Not exactly something I really wanted to do, but hey, I did have to survive. Did I ever join a gang in prison? No. I didn't want any parts of that whatsoever. I already had enough experience being locked up and seeing just what gang life is like for guys, especially new recruits. New recruits locked up, they have it the worst. They are put on the biggest, stupidest dummy missions. Hey, go beat that guy up right there, right now. And have to not only risk their lives locked up, but also run the risk of running up their sentence. Which means in a lot of cases, they end up serving way more time than they were originally locked up for. Next is from Troy Stewart. This isn't really a question, it's more of a comment that I want to respond to. But in yesterday's video, Troy commented and said, I'm almost 4 years clean today from heroin, and I cry every time I hear an addict, especially an opiate addict, tell their story. We all have the same story. Stay clean, man. And if anybody out there is using, you can get clean. Troy, congratulations on 4 years clean. Heroin is probably one of the worst drugs I have ever seen people have to deal with. Me, myself, I never was addicted to heroin nor ever messed with that. But I have lost so many good friends to overdoses. I mean, it's almost like you lose track because so many people die from using that drug. And I want to tell you real quick about a story that was told to me from a guy I met who was battling with heroin addiction. I met this guy shortly after being released from prison. We were working at a temp job together. And while talking to him, I told him I was fresh home from prison, and he told me he thought he was on his way to prison. And the reason he felt this was because on Halloween, him and his girlfriend, both heroin addicts, were shooting up dope together, and they both passed out shortly after shooting up this dope. Well, the next thing he knew, he tells me, is that he woke up and his girlfriend was laying right there next to him, except she was completely ice cold. He jumped up immediately because he already knew she had overdosed and was most likely dead. Tried to begin CPR on her, but it was already too late. She had overdosed and died in her sleep, and there was nothing he could do for her at that point. He then told me he had to call 911, tell them that his girlfriend had overdosed and died in her sleep, and while the paramedics and the police were on their way to his house, he was trying to clean up and get rid of all of the drug paraphernalia. But for whatever reason, he didn't want to throw it away. So he tells me there is a candy bowl that was sitting right there on the coffee table, and he literally took the heroin and the drug paraphernalia, like the needles or whatever else it may be, and literally hid it underneath the candy in the candy bowl right there on the coffee table. He said the paramedics and police showed up, put his girlfriend inside of a body bag right there. He said he had to sit there and talk with the detectives as his girlfriend was being taken out of the house in a body bag. And the detectives asked him if there was any dope or dope paraphernalia inside of the house. He told them there wasn't. But as he is talking to this detective, he's telling me that they are standing like literally 5 feet away from this candy bowl right there on the coffee table with all of this dope and dope paraphernalia hidden inside of it. This was a very crazy story to hear about. I mean, here is this guy who's telling me that his girlfriend, this chick he loved, died using heroin. And while he was calling the paramedics because he knew there was nothing he could do, he was still concerned for trying to stash that dope. It was hearing that story that really drove home the point of just how powerful a heroin addiction can be over people. Next is from The Ultimate Bean. The Ultimate Bean said, Joe, I've DM'd you on Insta, but you haven't replied to me. I'm the winner of the cartoon thing. And this I really have to respond to because I gotta be honest with you. I think I fucked up. On Instagram, I did receive a message from the Ultimate Bean. I even responded to it saying, hey, you are the contest winner. What's your address so I can mail you out this cartoon that you have won? They responded with an address and I sent that prize out. Here's where I think I fucked up at. Since all of this, I've realized that I have been contacted by multiple Ultimate Beans. And I'm gonna show you. Let's pull this up right now. Let's go to my messages. Bong, bong. So this is the Ultimate Bean. Hey bro, congrats on the contest. Where can I mail you your prize? They give me their address and I say, awesome bro, I'm mailing it out today. They say thanks. But when I looked at this Instagram account yesterday because of that comment right there, I kind of realized at that point that this is probably a fake Instagram account. And not only that, I was also contacted yesterday by another Ultimate Bean. And look at the way they spell that username. Hi Joe, I'm the Ultimate Bean. You said I won the contest. Thank you so much. Joe, are you alive? And I responded saying, I'm sorry, there was another Ultimate Bean that was the actual winner. I think I messed this up. And I do apologize if the Ultimate Bean from the comment section of that video is somebody that I haven't even talked to yet. I really do apologize for that because, again, there were multiple Ultimate Beans who reached out to me and I did mail a cartoon prize to one of those Ultimate Beans. And the last comment / question I want to get to in this video is from Demetra K, who asks, hey Joe, I think you should make a series of videos called Subscribers Get Tatted by Joe, showcasing you tattooing your subscribers. And I also know you play the guitar. Play some music for us. Well, first of all, that whole first part of that comment is probably something that's not going to be able to happen at all. I do realize there's probably a good majority of subscribers to After Prison Show who are under the age of 18. But if there are fans who are over the age of 18, and if some way we can line it up where I do actually tattoo fans of After Prison Show, that would be pretty cool. They have to let me tattoo After Prison Show across their forehead though. That's the only stipulation. But if they're cool with that, I think we really could make that happen. As for the other part of that comment saying, hey Joe, I know you play guitar, could you play us some music? I have to be honest, I haven't really been playing this thing since I took the strings off of this to make a prison tattoo gun. So I'm a little rusty. But what I do want to say is that while in certain prisons, you can actually play music. Some prisons have band rooms, other prisons even allow you to buy guitars from commissary. No prison I was ever at actually allowed you to buy a guitar from commissary, but I have been at 2 different prisons that had band rooms, and I used to be able to go there and play guitar. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm just not that great, okay? I mean, but I can play a little bit. And what I do hope to do in the very near future is to start writing music that I can play for you on After Prison Show. Actual songs written about stuff on After Prison Show or just in relation to anything that pertains to anything here. Punk tattoo guy, where have you been? I've been missing you. You were my friend. Pull over. Pull over! Pull over! Ta-ta-ta-ta-ta! Yeah, that's probably not gonna work. Anyways, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please leave a like and a comment. Let me know exactly what you thought about it. Got some big stuff coming this week from After Prison Show. Maybe I'll even have a little ditty put together this week. Who knows? But until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted, and make the most of every day. Peace! my God, that was horrible.